So I don't know about get personal real quick, but growing up, I mean, I had traditional
The
Thanksgivings
show
with
is
my
about us getting
grandparents.
personal.
So I have a Thanksgiving. So I pretty much had Thanksgiving with my grandparents, also my grandparents. We had Thanksgiving. She made like moist turkey. It wasn't dry, with some fresh mac and cheese, gravy, all kind of stuff. So I experienced Thanksgiving dinner, but also experienced not having Thanksgiving dinners, being by myself out there, like in the shelter, just by myself with my friends, or just out the shelter for the first time with no cell phone on Thanksgiving. So I experienced those as well. So it's just crazy that people are just like willing to die this Thanksgiving, to die for it for some reason, or to kill somebody else for it unintentionally. It's crazy to me that people can't just have the discipline or have like ways to manage not not being part of this holiday. Some people don't even celebrate this holiday.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're exposing those people as well. So it's just crazy that this is happening on Thanksgiving, especially in the holiday where pretty much the pilgrims came and like they got some free food and eating the Native
We also
Americans
got some blankets
and then
that
killed
were
them. Yeah,
laced with COVID-19. COVID 16-19.
yeah, pretty much. Looking happy with like the gourds and like the turkey, smiling and after it, just axe in the face. So this is what happened, and now like people try to do the same thing in a 2020 way. It's really crazy. So Phil can drop this clip of people crowding airports again. Um, I don't know why this is happening right now.
They gave him that COVID 1492.
Yeah, so
Thanksgiving. An exodus taking place right now. Millions of people are traveling for the holiday, despite alerts from health experts pleading with people to stay home and don't have those big gatherings. Dr.
They figure if they go to Thanksgiving this year and give everybody the Rona, they won't have to go next year.
yeah, be
Christmas.
dead. Don't worry about it no
Is live
more.
at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
Don't have to worry about Christmas either because you'd be dead for that too, probably, or on a ventilator, or just really
They
sick.
really are, TJ. Good morning. Yeah, over the last few days, we've seen lots of travelers going through TSA checkpoints like this one. And now, like you said, Dr. Fauci warning that travel right now will affect the next holidays.
People like, shut up, old man, Dr. Fauci.
3 million people.
But they won't live long enough to be an old men or women themselves.
Look how many people
flying for the holiday, despite that CDC warning not to travel.
We haven't had Thanksgiving as a family in 12 years, so yeah, with flights kind of being.
Wait, so now this year's to do it?
So
yeah,
I hate people.
But experts say immunity is not guaranteed, and there have been documented
So the
cases of
13th is going to be horrible.
And those
You're
air
even make
travel
13
numbers
even
don't
more horrible
include
year.
the 48 million others who AAA believes will drive. Will Mason says he has no choice but to travel home. His college is going virtual.
It's not really the thing you want to hear. Is not right before you go home. Is don't travel.
What the fuck is
I
up
guess
with
I
his
don't really
hair,
have options
son?
there.
But the travel rush
He's
isn't
19.
over.
He's still figuring
Sunday
out
after
stuff.
Thanksgiving is projected to be the busiest travel day. Now a new warning from the nation's top infectious disease expert, saying travelers today could make the surge even worse just in time for Christmas.
Yay! That's a great gift.
That keeps on giving.
Christmas time.
3 weeks from now.
The CDC pointing to how hard
We'll
it is
talk about it, Daft.
away from people at airports, bus stations, train stations, and rest stops. And while
You
studies
have to arrest all the people that ran the orgy, though. They had like 80 people on it compared to 7,000 people.
and ride shares, which don't have the same air filtration.
All the airlines.
It's only going to be me and a turkey.
Yeah, so we're trying to play.
Two go in, only one emerges.
Our lives as well.
And remember, if you're driving, you're probably going to stop. You're going to get some gas, maybe some food. And TJ, that is where you put yourself at risk.
Okay, and the
don't
CDC
get
is
food.
trying here. They're giving
You
us
bring your
kind of
food.
what things we're doing that are low risk and high risk when you travel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And let's go ahead and start with the lowest risk right now, and that is staying home, of course, but also short trips with members of your household with no stops.
Stay a dusty ass home.
This is how crazy it is.
In your household.
Stay at home.
Get on
Number
a
one.
train or a bus. Now, the CDC says the highest risk flights, especially with layovers and getting on a small cruise ship or riverboat.
Who the fuck
TJ,
is
we
getting
have
on a
already
cruise
seen-
ship?
All right, Theo, thank you so much.
That chick, the 12-year.
Yeah.
I really like. You know how I feel about violence against women that's physically unprovoked.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
Yeah.
But man, she was testing it. Because how the fuck you gonna tell me? Yeah, we haven't had dinner in 12 years, but we waited until a fucking pandemic. Oh yeah, we need to make sure we do this. What? I just it's like, I don't know. You don't start bungee jumping until you hear that a bunch of people started dying from bungee jumping.
Yeah, no, it's like people. I don't know, people. I guess one, because you're not getting any leadership from nowhere really, and we are getting leadership in the state level. People are not paying attention to it. I don't know. It's not really sure what the logic is. But because from my personal experience, I'm not really feeding for Thanksgiving. Then I personally grew up with like a discombobulated farming situation. So I had like Friendsgivings, I had like gatherings after Thanksgiving or in between Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving. I mean, these are the kind of things I cherished more and more as I got older, rather than this particular holiday days. Like the things I liked the most was like when you got that dinner middle of like the week for some reason, middle of the month that wasn't tied to a holiday. That's when you know people care about you and like, you appreciate people. This whole consolidating around this holiday right now, especially when you shouldn't do it, it's crazy. You know, it's just like
all of the experts have been saying since April that we might get a little bit of a break during the summertime.
Yeah.
But the fall and winter seasons are going to be damn near apocalyptic.
And they're making it.
And they've been saying it.
Yeah.
Yes, let's make sure. And it's like, you've been on Zoom for 8 or 9 months now, and you can't eat some dry ass food in front of a camera now. You can't do that. Like,
you know, these people are not cooking.
You don't
do people not cooking good.
Don't do a family dinner for 12 years, and you decide that a global deadly pandemic is the time to do this. That's the time. That's when you choose to break the streak.
Like
it's like people are doing this shit on purpose.
Yeah, so it feels like people are just edgelords, you know, just like testing, I don't know, people's pride, but we have this one situation, even though we have people just blatantly going nuts like this, we have the vaccine watch that's happening. If Phil could drop his next
Wait 1 second. Wait, before we go there. Before
Phil goes to the clip.
Yeah, before PJ goes to the clip.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about what the great Daft Git is talking about.
Shout out to Twitch, shout out to Facebook for tuning in, leaving your chats. This is good. It's lit. Thank you.
Yeah, we love, the thing is, this show really should be more centered around, the responses to the comments. But, you guys, we're talking to you. You could talk to us. We'll respond to you. All right. So, we had like this, and I asked one of my clients who is, they're not like Orthodox Jews, but, I asked them, what they thought about this secret wedding that these people at this ultra Orthodox synagogue were bragging about, as if they were being persecuted, like the Gestapo is here and they're going to be marched into ovens. No, we're just asking you to postpone your weddings until after the Rona stops roning.
Because people couldn't go to their funerals of like their moms and like fathers and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, we're not asking anything of you that we aren't asking of other people. And they're like, yeah, we insist on, and then they have these elaborate funerals for people who have died from the Rona, who got it from a different elaborate funeral from somebody that died from the Rona. And it's like, I get it. Like, anti-Semitism is horrible. All the anti-Jewish rhetoric, all the people denying the Holocaust. I get it. I completely get it. This is not one of those situations. And then I hear that the mayor's office fined them $15,000. They're going to make that look like, that they were being marched into a gas chamber. They're going to, we're being persecuted again. Yeah. And it's like, nah, that is not what is happening here.
Yeah, but
like we're asking you to do the same thing everybody else is doing.
But it goes back to that fake Thanksgiving trailer where they said, white meat, dark meat,
all be carved.
Exactly. That's what's happening.
There's somebody watching right now that is hating that every single time I say it. And I'm loving the fact that they hate that I love saying that shit.
So we have someone said on Blind Bait says, I know a lot of people that say no one would tell them what to do, but they're always following what everyone else is doing. Yeah, isn't that crazy? People are like,
that's crazy,
tell me
right?
what to do, but I'm gonna do what everyone else is doing.
But I'm gonna go do what 7,000 other people are doing, and I'm gonna stand there. I'm gonna wear the same exact clothes as everybody else that's there, right? But nobody's gonna tell me what to do. All right, yeah.
That's about it's so crazy. So like speaking of which, telling people what to do, the vaccine. If Phil can play this clip about the updates with the vaccines happening all over the place.
Vaccine news, it's giving us hope as COVID cases continue to surge. AstraZeneca is now the third drug maker to claim its vaccine is highly effective at fighting the virus. Here's a look at the vaccine rates by the numbers. Up to 90%. That's how effective AstraZeneca and Oxford University say their vaccine is, based on an interim analysis of phase 3.
Yay. That's one vaccine, potential vaccine.
UK and Brazil. None of the vaccinated trial participants needed hospitalization for COVID-19. Now they expect to produce and distribute 3 billion doses in 2021 on a rolling basis, pending regulatory approval. And because AstraZeneca's vaccine can last at least 6 months in a normal refrigerator, distribution could be easier than other vaccines and also cost less than $4 a dose. Meanwhile, Pfizer and BioNTech say that their vaccine is up to 95% effective. And with FDA approval, rollout could begin as soon as December 11th. Pfizer expects to produce up to 50 million doses in 2020 and up to 1.3 billion doses globally by the end of 2021. That vaccine, however, requires ultra cold storage after several days. And finally,
someone's about to lose the vaccine.
Moderna says its vaccine is 94.5% effective based on a preliminary analysis. They could have 20 million doses by the end of the year.
Hi, everyone. George.
So far, there's 3. They didn't include Sputnik because that's American.
That's the Russian.
Yeah, it's Sputnik. But like technically it's 4 because Sputnik pretty much is India. Iran is getting Sputnik. That's a lot of people. We can't ignore that, even though, whatever. So that's like 4 potential vaccines globally that might be available to people. So hopefully, it's enough that we can get some vaccines. I don't know, get your vaccine. That's if you want to get a vaccine. Some people might be like, no, I'm not going to get a vaccine. And if your job is like, you have to get a vaccine to have this job, then I don't know what's going to happen with people. But
it would have been cool if we would have had Dr. Stokes on to talk about the unique style of vaccine that they are putting out, which I think is pretty interesting. So normally, vaccines are made from deadened versions of or non-effective versions of viruses or bacteria that your body can recognize it, build antibodies for it, and then it'll know how to attack it when it enters the system at a different point. But this one is different in that it's like I think it's what do they call it, an mRNA or something like that, where they build a specific protein that you need to target the virus without actually putting the virus in your body to begin with. So the chances that somebody gets ill from getting, because when you do the vaccine thing, you're basically infecting yourself on some level.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times vaccines are like that. Yeah, you get a weaker version of the flu kind of thing like that.
Right, exactly. That's normally how vaccines go. With them targeting specific proteins and replicating those things, so your body can say, okay, when we see this protein, we know how to attack it to keep it from proliferating. I think that is actually pretty ingenious. And I think that for some of the illnesses in the past that we haven't been able to find answers for, like, rhinovirus and other coronaviruses, perhaps even HIV or, something along those lines, perhaps we might have a blueprint now to start targeting other diseases that inhibit enjoyment of life around the world.
Yeah, I mean, if we were a country that was more concerned with science, if our media was more centered on science, there'd be the discussions, there'd be the more positive aspect of what's happening. You wouldn't be as frightened, as worried about the end of the world if you heard this kind of thing. Wow, this vaccine hunt that's happening all over the world might lead to some fantastical medical stuff in the long run for a whole lot of diseases and illnesses. So it's like the reality of that as well. But I mean, when you tune into CNBC, you just get like kind of the stock prices and like, you know, who's going to make the money, and like, you don't really think about the human aspect of like,
and
the science aspect of it.
And that's what goes to Blind Bat's comment in the Twitch about how HIV has been out for over 40 years, and probably been live closer to 45 years on the African continent, and we still don't have any lasting. We don't have anything lasting to deal with it, but with COVID-19, and it all goes like it's all money.
It wasn't like a World War II concerted kind of global effort for it. It was like, you know, you have to be honest about that. It was a global effort to keep people from dying from it. Like stop, you know, like it was like a global effort to be recognized even before, you know, that was a global effort because people were dying for so much, people were denying it. That was a global effort just to be recognized.
How many billions of dollars were poured into the research? And then you have all of these different teams of scientists that are conducting different stage 3 and stage 4 clinical trials. And, you know, they're honoring the scientific method across the world. And then you find these innovative tactics to combat the virus. Mm-hmm. And again, it goes towards, you know, what is economically feasible, what is, and sadly, that's just the way it is. You know, a lot of these pharmaceutical companies don't care about developing the best antibiotics. They don't care about developing the best antiretrovirals.
A lot of times these prescriptions that come out are just hash packwork of things that they try to make. And it like, you know, a lot of times that's what we see, like symptoms includes diarrhea, headaches, and it'd be for like a medication for headaches. So it'd be like it's a mass pack of things that they finally put out and makes a bottom line for some sort of illness, like either cancer.
The thing is, once you cure disease, there's no more money to be made from that person.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies want to focus on creating treatments, creating chronic conditions, and creating chronic treatments for chronic conditions.
Yeah,
right?
Look at the phrasing of pre-existing conditions. How barbaric is that? Like pre-existing conditions. Like, don't every human being has a pre-existing condition of some form?
When you're in the womb. When you're in the womb.
Like, get out of here, bro. Yeah. So that's the virus segment. You know, thanks for Twitch for tuning in, Facebook for tuning in. Check out clips on YouTube. We have over 44,000 subscribers on there on act.tv. Check it out. So